All right, so it looks like we are now on the air, guys, live. We are doing it live via Google Hangouts today, so bear with me 1 second here. I'm going to get some links I need to send to people. I need to invite some people to this thing, is what I need to do. Do 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 do. Okay, so we're gonna do that. I need to go. This is Nintendo as episode 175. Recorded today live Friday. Well, it's Friday for where I am. What did it say? 20th of April. Geez, now how did it get that be that fast? I'm gonna just get some more people here. I'm looking for Mr. Gary A. No one. Where am I at here? You know, I don't even know where my monitor is. There it is. Perfect. So we are just going to wait for people to be joining us. It's exciting stuff. Welcome for the 4 people who are broadcast or who are watching live. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Appreciate it. It's, like I said, it's about 4 a.m. We're doing it a little bit differently today. We're not doing the Skype call. We're going to do it live here on the YouTube. Why? Because it's fresher for you. That's how we like to do it every single day for you. To be completely honest, Jesse and Zach, who usually do the back-end recording, are unavailable today. So we're going to do something different, shall we? But that being said, I'm super excited because it is still an amazing show. Tonight, actually, we have Gary Gray, the flat cap gamer himself, who's going to be showing up and joining us. He spent Saturday last week playing, over at EGX Resd over here in the UK, and he has been getting his hands on some amazing games. I see Marty is joining us into the call right now as well, so that's pretty fantastic. Morning, Marty. How are you?
Good evening, morning, something.
Good day to you, sir.
How are you?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
Well, I am. I'm here. We're. Well, depending on when I get it tomorrow, we're less than 24 hours away from Labo.
Right. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people obviously getting their Labo stuff thus far, and I'm kind of jealous.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm super excited.
You know what I'm really disappointed in, actually? I'm really disappointed that the box itself isn't like make something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I'm disappointed in. Like, it should be 100%, sustainable, reusable. You build something else.
Are we counting down until the videos of Nintendo Labo Kit puts itself together?
Oh, yeah, probably. That sounds about right.
Someone's got to make a Labo kit to build a robot to build Labo kits.
Yes. Yeah.
the cardboard robot that builds cardboard robots. Mm-hmm. And then that's the end right there. Yeah.
That's like inceptions of cardboard.
Okay. Looks like everyone got the memo. We're all wearing our gray shirts.
This is actually blue. This is blue.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
check that out.
It looks gray.
Yeah, you must have poor lighting above you because it looks good.
I do. There's one single light. This is the dining room. Which,
if this light behind me is annoying, I can shut it off.
You're good.
Oh, okay. Speaking of people who are never annoying but always here on time, Mr. Gary Gray joining us. Hey, how are you, Gary?
I'm good.
Good man to be waking up here at 4 a.m. to be doing this show.
Dedication, man.
Or stupidity.
Oh,
one of the two, probably. But I like how you really are like embracing your flat cap gamer tag. Like you're just putting the cap on.
It's really funny because people have started recognizing me about that for that now.
Nice. I was actually at Tesco a couple of days ago, and they had a bunch of flat caps for sale for less than $5.
That's awesome.
I know. I was like, I should buy a bunch of these and just send them over to Gary. But their quality wasn't great.
This was £1.75.
Oh, geez, no, it's a okay. I like it.
It was from like dirt cheap on Amazon from China.
It's nice. I like it.
Nice. So I just checked, and one of my 2 Labo packages is only 3 hours away from me right now.
Only 3 hours. That's fantastic.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Which one?
That is, it is in a town near where I grew up.
Did you order both then?
I have, I got both, and I also have the customization kits incoming as well.
They're pretty cool. They're really cool.
So the one package is both kits, and then the next package is just the customization kit.
Yeah, Gary. I mean, Gary's actually gone hands-on with it. So I mean, he can spoil it all for you.
Well, no, please don't. My wife, like I was saying something about the customization kit. I was showing because I found one at Walmart the other day, and they of course wouldn't let me buy it. And I was showing it like to my kids. I'd taken pictures of the box, and she's like, "And that is a totally unnecessary purchase." And I was like, "That we're also getting."
Absolutely right.
She's like, "You can draw Mario eyes on it yourself." I was like, "But I don't want to."
Yeah, they've provided me the stickers to do that.
They've already given me the Bowser eye stickers. I have to have them.
Yeah, exactly. I think the customizer kit's gonna be actually the hard thing to find.
Yeah, my Walmart actually only had 2 of them.
Wow. Okay.
And that's why I ordered from Amazon. Like I just decided I just went and looked and see if it was in stock, and I was like, I'm going to guarantee myself one of these things.
Yeah.
Because I definitely think I definitely think you're right. I think that there's going to be less of these than people think.
Yeah.
Well, at this time, you can order it from Nintendo Store directly.
That's true. That's
Gary,
true.
You've got some playing with the actual customizer itself, right? Some of the stickers and stuff. How is the quality of that stuff? Is it pretty decent?
Yeah, it's really good, to be honest. Even the tapes and stuff are really cool. You know, there was like the pink, blue, and red. Pink, blue, and red. No, I'm wrong there. Pink, blue, and yellow tape, the same as the Labo colors.
Nice.
And ended up coating the whole thing with it.
Yeah. Is it like rolls of duct tape essentially?
Yeah, basically like
there is.
Like
I was actually looking at it right now on Amazon because they've actually put up some spec pictures of it instead of just the box.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a roll of tape that is cardboard brown that says Nintendo Labo, has the logo on it. You get the tape that Gary was talking about that's yellow, red, and blue. You get a sheet of character eye stickers that seem to include Mario, Boo, Peach, Bowser, Goomba, Toad, Splatoon Squid, Wind Waker Link, and KK Slider from Animal Crossing.
Nice.
And some other, I'm sure all of these Isabelle is one of them too. Right. And then you get a sticker sheet with weird, like, geometric designs of like the Labo robots and the other kits that also has a sticker of a Switch with removable Joy-Cons, which is really cool. And then you get 2 stencils. So like you can reuse the stencils over and over and over. Like the more we have gotten close to this, like I get more excited about it because my daughter is freaking out about Labo.
That's awesome.
And when I told her today, I was like, yeah, so we're going to have to do a video over the weekend. She's like, oh, okay. What are we going to do? I was like, we're going to build a house together. And she was like,
yeah,
it was great. Fantastic. I said, and you can decorate it however you want to. So it's going to be, I can't wait.
Yep, I think there's gonna be a lot of building of cardboard this weekend, and then obviously over here in the EU in Ireland, we actually get it an entire week later than everybody else. And as Alex from Nintendo Life said, just to spite him, that's why they're doing it. But yeah, it's a bit. I mean, I think it's interesting when there's a launch of something and there's so much hype, and like I've never been in a spot where it's like delayed by an entire week. But I mean, it's kind of relatively common, Gary, though, isn't it, for the Europe to kind of get delays on some of the stuff, right?
Yeah, welcome to the EU, Justin.
Yeah, this is fantastic. Yeah, this is fantastic.
Listen, this is what you guys get for getting all those sweet special editions.
That is fair. Yeah, we do get a lot of like.
You get a lot of like pre-order bonuses and special stuff that we never see.
Oh, you guys get way better ones. You just don't see it. Like the ones that you take for granted are the ones that we don't get. We never got like the Breath of the Wild thing with the coin and stuff.
Well, that's true, but you did get like the blue spike shell for Mario Kart 8.
Oh yeah, but you had to pay for it.
Oh really?
Yeah, it wasn't free. It was like something like an extra £15, £20 more. But just to touch on the Labo thing. I know some people think that the like add-on like sticker packs to that might be a bit dumb. They're actually a really good purchase, especially with the kids. I really wouldn't overlook them, but they are an option. So if you think they're dumb, then don't buy them. But if you got kids around, they're going to really enjoy the little eye stickers and the tape. So I think it's a good purchase myself.
Sweet. All right, gentlemen, should we actually I feel like this is a really healthy conversation. I don't want to cut this off from the show, so let's keep it in here when we're exporting it, Jesse. But maybe should we just kick this off like we normally do, like an actual starter, and roll into it? Or I feel like we're just kind of patching stuff together today. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think whether Zach does it or I do it, cut this together. We can always put that at the end, so it's still a clean start.
I like it. Okay. Marty, do you have notes or anything ready?
Yeah, I'm ready with notes, man. We got actually a lot of news this week. So
all right, let's crack this thing off.
Okay.
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Nintendo Dads, episode 176, recorded on April 19th, 2018. On tonight's episode, we discuss the impending launch of Nintendo Labo and plenty of Nintendo news. Also with us tonight, we've got Flat Cat Game. Never mind. Can we do that over?
Oh, absolutely.
I called you Flat Cat Gamer.
I thought you called me Fat Cat.
Either one, let's keep it. I like it.
Labo pizza boxes.
Man, I'm gonna tell you, I've had trouble speaking all day. It's been crazy.
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Nintendo Dads, episode 176, recorded on April 19th, 2018. And the impending launch of Labo is just around the corner. On tonight's episode, we're going to talk about that. We're also going to be joined by Flat Cap Gamer Gary Gray and so much more. Whoever is doing it this week, can you just cue the music and let's get on with it?
Insert music here. Beep, 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 yeah. All right, guys, welcome to Nintendo Dads, episode 176. As Mr. Marty Estes mentioned, my name is Justin Mass, and I'm your host for tonight. I am a host with 3 of the most amazing guys and friends around the internet joining me today. We're going to start off with, of course, you know what? I'm going to start this off a little bit differently. I'm going to start with the man closest to me, the man who's in the same time zone, who needs a large cup of coffee and kind of keeping his eyes awake, my UK correspondent, friend with a beard and a flat cap, Mr. Gary Gray. How are you today, sir?
I'm good. Big jug of coffee and a yogurt for the 4 a.m. start.
Right, yeah. This is the pain of Nintendo Dads on our time zone.
What could be more perfect?
Speaking of perfect, his Wi-Fi might be patchy, but his beard is full. Mr. Jesse Waldeck, how are you, buddy?
Good. I'm hoping my Wi-Fi in the hotel is holding. I did pay for the extra $5 to try to get a boost in string, so hopefully it's adequate.
I like it. Speaking of a man who never pays $5, let alone $5 to boost his own strength, mouth from the south, Mr. Marty Estes. Sir, what is going on with you?
Well, let me tell you something, brother. No, I'm sorry. I've been watching too much wrestling lately. Things are great.
Wrestling?
I don't know. I'm doing good. I don't have any coffee.
No,
so
you shouldn't be having coffee. I mean, what is like 11 o'clock at night for you? Is that right?
10:15.
10:15, right?
Yeah, I'm in Eastern time tonight, so I actually had to take a small nap before this because I was ready to crash at about 8 o'clock.
Oh, that's cute that you take a nap before the show. Look at you,
old man. You take a nap before the show.
Yeah, that's called sleep because it's normal time to be sleeping like the rest of us should be. Dingbat.
I normally wake up at like 7:30 or 8. I had to be in the office at 7:30 or 8 this morning, so this has been a long day for me.
Woe is the worries and the heavy is the crown that carries you, sir. Well, folks, let's dive right into it. I know that obviously Marty mentioned we got a ton of news, but the thing I do really want to focus on, of course, is that Gary is here, and not only is Gary here just because we love Gary and he's awesome, our kind of like part-time Nintendo dad who does amazing work for us. But Gary this weekend was actually over at EGX Rezzed, a huge event over here in the UK area, and he got his hands on some amazing games. So he's getting an opportunity later today to talk about that. We're going to dive into some of this. He may or may not have like basically accosted Suda 51 coming out of the bathroom, but we'll talk about that later as well. But of course, Marty, before we talk about all of that, who makes all this happen? Who helps us do this every single week? Can you help us out on that one?
Well, Justin, you know that is our good friends over at patreon.com/Nintendo Dads. And we want to thank all of our Patreon supporters for making the show possible, also making Retro Rewind possible. And we have a little bit of news there. Castlevania 4, or I'm sorry, Super Castlevania 4, won the most recent Retro Rewind poll. And so that is our next game. Dig out your Super Nintendos, download that bad boy on Virtual Console, or play it on the SNES Classic. And let's go hunt some vampires, guys. I am super excited about this. I can't tell you how excited I am about this game being our Retro Rewind game next.
That's awesome. Yeah,
it's one of my favorite. Like, if I had to pick, you know, like if somebody was like, we're going to shoot you into space and you only could take 10 games with you, and what would they be? It would probably be on that list.
Really? See,
oh my gosh, it's so good.
I never really played Castlevania much at all growing up. Like, I was just like, I think I played like one of them and just didn't really catch my fancy, so I didn't really bother. Catch My Fancy, by the way, was my wrestling school name. But I'm excited to see if Gary can spit out his coffee right there. Yeah, exactly. But I'm excited to definitely give it a go. I'm very, and obviously, as you mentioned, you can download it on the Virtual Console
for both Wii U and 3DS.
Right, and it is on the SNES Classic, right?
Right.
Yes. So I can download it on my Switch, though, right?
No,
Switch.
I'm sorry.
It does have to be a new 3DS.
Now you're getting real particular there, Jesse. All right.
Well, I'm glad he said that, because somebody would correct us.
I just don't want anyone to say that we were wrong. Hey, I tried downloading it and it wouldn't let me.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Well, yeah, it'd probably stop you before then, but still. So that's going to be the game we're playing. Go play it. It is not going to take a whole month to play it, but this does give us the opportunity when we do this Retro Rewind show to have some really epic music, and that's one of my favorite things about this game.
Is that a shot at the epic music we didn't have during last Retro Rewind?
No, absolutely not.
I want to see if I can get you and Jesse fighting.
Because I think Mark and Brad might have words.
Well, and the amount of positive feedback that we received about your epic music was awesome, Jesse. So let's keep that train rolling into Retro Rewind. But we did, Marty, you did mention some news. Let's break that down. There were some interesting things that happened this week, especially even when we speak about retro gaming and old school gaming and wanting to play games on virtual consoles or small devices. What happened this week?
So earlier this week, Sega teased a major announcement. And they basically came out and dropped a good slew of announcements. Slew is a Southern term for, it's kind of like a schwackload.
Water? No, okay.
It's kind of like a schwackload of announcements. So a couple of things that they announced that I think are pretty cool. Sega Ages is coming to the Nintendo Switch. And this appears to be not a collection of games, but individually downloaded games, a lot like the arcade archives are right now. And so obviously there's some.
Yes, it does.
What's that?
Sega Ages. Yes, it does.
Yeah. That's a good one. I like it. And there are some Sega games that did not age well. They're really, Golden Axe, I'm looking at you. So this is obviously got some pros and cons, right? So arcade archives, they're $8 a whack. When you download them, it's only one game. Of course, Xbox One, PlayStation 4 are getting the Sega Genesis collection that has tons of, I think like 40 Sega games, right? Just from the Genesis era. But I guess the positive thing, and we'll talk about this for a minute, is that Sega has confirmed that Sega Ages titles are not just limited to the Genesis. They're going that we could see from the beginning Genesis and Saturn games, I believe, but later on we could also see Dreamcast games come out with this, and in Master System games. Right. So how do y'all feel about this? Because I'll just go ahead and say it. I don't like this announcement. And for two reasons. Number one, I don't like buying retro games on a brand new console individually anymore. I guess if it was virtual console, it would be fine. But then that brings up the other point is seeing stuff like this happen, like Arcade Archive, Sega Ages, different things like that, especially a year into the lifespan of the Switch. Is this like the death knell for virtual console or what? Yeah,
let's throw it over to Gary. And actually, Gary, you were sporting off, for those on the live stream who didn't see it. Gary was sporting off I believe it's a Sonic shirt that he was wearing there. So a Sonic fan indeed. Gary, how do you feel about this announcement from Sega?
Well, being a European, it gets me so excited. I actually dribble a little bit of Wii. So over in Europe, we're all pretty much Mega Drive, as it's called, instead of Genesis. So it's really popular over here. So the vast majority of us are fans anyway. Now, there's a couple of things that I think is noteworthy. I think, it's a bit weird because it kind of makes a big question on Virtual Console. But to be honest, the way I'm feeling at the minute, I don't think we really need Virtual Console anymore in the way that it was on the Wii, because we've already got games coming out anyway. And to be honest, Virtual Console was just a nice name of having all the games in a section on the eShop, which they could still do without the attachment of Virtual Console. And I would have rather have had things as a bundle, but Sega's already got you sort of covered with that anyway with their other announcements. Mm-hmm. So it's a bit of a strange one, but I mean, it's more games, and whether you buy them or not, it's going to appeal to someone. Me personally, I'd rather buy a bundle, like I say, or some hardware, wink wink, with something on. Mm-hmm. But another chance to play Sonic, it's happening.
Yeah. So I guess, obviously, so Gary, what you're alluding to there is what are they calling it? The mini Genesis or mini Mega Drive?
Yeah.
Right.
Basically, they've just robbed from Nintendo once again.
They absolutely have, right? I mean, there's no doubt about this. So they're doing basically a Sega Genesis classic.
Didn't they previously try one of these before and just didn't do well?
It was not it was not like an in-house, right? It was, and it's terrible quality.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, I get it.
It's one of those kind of it's got all the Genesis games on it, but then it has 500 other games. And it's not you can buy them at Walmart, so they're I mean, I guess above board, but it wasn't done by Sega like the NES Classic was done by Nintendo.
Yeah, Sega's been licensing out the Mega Drive and Genesis label for years. There's multiple versions. Some take cartridge as well as using inbuilt games. And some are handheld. Now, the interesting thing about them is the ones that take the cartridges came with 2 controllers before the Super NES Classic released. So it's a big thing, except they were infrared. So if you wasn't standing in a certain point and aiming it directly at the infrared port, it didn't work. But
that's almost worse than
small cords.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the interesting thing about them is, especially the handheld one, came with an SD card slot. So you didn't need to do some illegal things to get other games running on it. You just literally dragged and dropped the games to an SD card and popped them in, and they worked.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, I think this is interesting. I do think as Gary mentioned there, and I think that Marty, you've alluded to, I do think this has a little bit more writing on the wall about the virtual consoles or the status on the Switch. I think going forward, right? So obviously we've got the SNES Classic, the NES Classic now, and the Mega Drive. Now, of course, not being released by Nintendo, but I do think it says a bit of the state of a virtual console and how they're prioritizing it. And I think it will be more of this idea of, if people continue to buy hardware, which we always know that the sales for the classics are really quite high, then I think it's satisfying that market for Nintendo, right? And so I I don't think we're going to get, I just don't think we're going to get the virtual console in the same way we are. And I don't know if it'll be part of the bundled service. I mean, they're doing a virtual console kind of modified game, so that's nothing really crazy there. What I always want to see when they do an announcement like this, and if anyone's listening, if you want to do this, it'd be great, is we're going to do the virtual console, right? So here you go. Here is the Mega Drive. We're also going to offer on a cartridge, for €60 or $60 every game that's available, right? And you can just pop it in, right? So off the SNES Classic here, as opposed to buying them individual, you pay $60 and I've got it on a cartridge and I can pop it in. Or you can do like a bulk download, let's say, and for 5 gigs of data, you get everything in a subfolder almost, right? So you're buying it that way.
And we've said the exact same thing about the NES and the Super Nintendo Classics too.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was saying. I'm hoping that someday someone will do that, right? Because I think you're satisfying. I think you're basically at that point satisfying all the market you need.
I'm not. There might be a big, because the Mega Drive Mini or Genesis Mini is in-house Sega. It might be a better seller. Yeah, I just don't know if the nostalgia is as big in North America as it is in Europe. So I'm not sure how well that'll sell.
Yeah.
And kind of doing a little bit of devil's advocate, just because the Sega Ages thing doesn't necessarily mean that Virtual Console is dead. It just means that nothing's been announced and Sega says, fine, we'll do it on our own.
Yeah. Well, sorry, Gary. And I think, the other part is, we're even seeing, like, when I think of like Mega Man, right, the Legacy Collection or Mega Man X, right, we're seeing these games that would normally be hitting a virtual console being unbundled into their own sub series or sub collection for people to purchase, right?
At least those other games are being released in similar bundles on other platforms. The Sega Ages seems to be Switch only. Is that right?
Yeah. No, I don't believe so. I believe it is also for the other platforms. I could be wrong on that. Someone can fact check me. Those of you in the YouTube chat, if you want to just correct me, like just write in whether I'm right or wrong. Is Sega Ages only for Nintendo Switch? Chat, keep us honest. Gary, go ahead. What was your point?
Yeah, so one thing that I've been thinking about with the Virtual Console, and that's a business point of view from Nintendo. Now, it might seem like they're neglecting customer demand for a Virtual Console, but what you got to think of is if they put those on the eShop as well, we'd be having like 20 plus releases a week, new and old games, and we'd be detracting from the indies. So at the moment, Nintendo's got a really good reputation with the Switch for selling indie games, which is working for their favor because it means more people want to release their games on them. Bigger games are coming, left, right, and center in terms of indie anyway. And I think that if they did the Virtual Console straight away, we wouldn't have seen those sales as much because people would have gone, right, I've got $10. I'm on the eShop now. I could either buy Celeste or I could buy Mario again. And I think a good percentage would pick Mario again, and it would start to shaft the sales from the indies. So that's my 2 cents on why they probably haven't done it yet.
So, Gary, just to understand here, your argument for why Nintendo hasn't put a Virtual Console in there is for the livelihood of the indie developer in the indie scene, right? Is that what the argument is?
Yeah, basically, I think they've caught a nice niche with it, and I think that Nintendo's really looking ahead and not so much back with the Switch. Yeah. I think that's also something to do with it.
Yeah. Okay. Gary, and we're going to move on to our next topic here pretty quick. I want to be mindful as well. Gary,
hey, Justin, I wanted to throw this out here as we're talking about that, since we are going to be moving on. I did some digging while you guys were talking. Basically, the Mega Drive Mini is made by the same company that has done all of the really, really awful, shoddy ports. But they say, and this tweet was up earlier this week and has now been deleted. But was archived several places around the web, that this is what it said. The rumors are true. Sega is going to release the Mega Drive Mini in Japan powered by the latest at-games technology. This same new and improved technology will find its way into the U.S. and other territories later this year. But these are the same guys who've been they've done like a lot of the flashback consoles. The reputation surrounding this is awful. Okay. It's absolutely terrible. And the fact that this is, again, Sega announced this and it's not being done in-house by them. Why?
Yeah.
Like, especially after Nintendo has seen this such a success with the NES Mini.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a very good point. Looking at our chat right now, Dante Hancock says, ages is Sega backwards. And now that you've said it, Dante, I can't not unsee that. So thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, like, wow, that is
Inception.
Right. And Chris White, thank you very much for keeping us honest here. He says, Sohar Ages has only been announced for Switch. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. That's why we have the absolute best chat in the internet.
I've been out of pocket of the news in the last week, but it sounded like to me that Ages was probably Switch only in place of the other 40 or 60 bundles that game bundles that are coming out for the other systems.
Yeah. Go ahead, Gary.
I was going to say, it might seem like product placement now because Sonic Mania had Ages written all over the background in Studiopolis Zone.
Oh, interesting.
So obviously, I think they just played on the old joke of putting Sega backwards, but now it's definitely going to look like product placement.
Yeah. So just before we move on,
guys, we thank you for tuning in to another episode of Sega Dads.
Yeah. And the irony being is that Zach's not here.
Yeah, I was going to say Zach probably would be the most interested in this out of all of us.
Yeah. So just before we head on, Gary, so are you going to pick up the mini Mega Drive?
If reviews are good, because Sega will be Sega.
Yeah, exactly. I believe you and I may have been the people who called Sonic Forces a dumpster fire game.
Yeah, and I actually feel really bad because when it was released, it was actually a lot more polished than the version that we played. But if they released it how it was when we played it back at EGX last year, it would have got like 3 out of 10s.
Yeah. So we made a video, and I have never seen internet Sega fans come to that defense so quickly in my life on the comment boards on what we posted. Like, we were getting roasted for that thing. But nonetheless, we'll move on. Marty, what else we got in our news?
Well, let's take a look here, Justin. Labo's coming out this week, obviously. And the big story, I guess, this out of tonight is that replacement parts are already up on the Nintendo website. You can purchase anything from the customization kit, which includes tape and stickers and stencils to fix your creations up and make them look different. Individual parts from the robot kit are also available and range anywhere from $1.99 is the lowest. But also
sticker sheet.
Yeah, that's just for the sticker sheet, which I'm going to assume is part of the kit.
Yeah.
Up to the most expensive, which is $13.99, which is the main body cardboard pack. So basically, if your Labo creation starts to fall apart and it's only falling apart in one piece, instead of having to go back and buy all of the robot kit, you can say, well, my visor is messed up. Well, the visor part is part of a kit that's $5.99. I think this is incredibly, incredibly smart of Nintendo to do this and already have it available, right?
The question is how well will they keep this in stock?
Yeah, that's a great question. And these prices are
they're reasonable.
Not that bad. Yeah, they really are.
They're very reasonable. In fact, in the variety kit, the most expensive parts of it are the piano and the motorbike. And you have seen, just from the commercials and thing, how involved, how many pieces that piano has involved in it. It's only $12.
Well, yeah, and so here's the thing that kind of is interesting. If I'm looking at these prices here, so the fishing rod cardboard pack is $8.99, right? So nothing would really. So am I correct to assume then that has everything?
I would think so, because if you look at the, if you look at the robot pack, there are certain parts of it. Like if you look at the straps pack is $5.99.
Yeah.
In that there's grommets, little plastic grommets and different things that you would have to have. But it says cardboard pack. So are the grommets? Can you get those?
Mm-hmm.
Or, it is kind of I'm glad you asked that because
they may be part of the accessory pack. That's $10.
Yeah. Okay. So and I guess where my brain is forward thinking this. Okay. Let's use this example. RC car plus Discovery cardboard pack is $2.99. So really,
I'm actually going in and looking at these as we talk. So keep going.
The only thing that appears to be stopping us then saying, hey, I could just go order that, is the fact that what I'm missing most importantly is the software.
Exactly.
To be able to do that.
Here is what it says, the fishing rod, right?
Where are you looking at
a specific one? I'm looking at it on store.nintendo.com.
Okay.
So I'm looking at this. The cardboard pack sheets included can be used to build an additional or replacement Toy-Con, replace a section of a Toy-Con, or design a new Toy-Con. Additional accessories, grommets, strings, straps, stickers, etc. are sold separately. Accessories used to construct the original Toy-Con may be reused. Includes one sheet, and this is the list, one A sheet, one B sheet, on and on down to one F sheet. And so it's literally just 6 sheets of cardboard.
Yeah, so
the accessory pack is exactly what Jesse said it was. It's grommets, rubber bands, straps.
And the variety kit and the robot kit each have their own accessory pack that are $10 each.
Yep.
Interesting.
So most of the people on the internet are probably running around on fire now saying, well, why don't they supply the string and the grommets with the cardboard pack? But it's because they will last. The strings and the grommets, they won't go. But the cardboard probably will over time.
That's exactly a point. And the cardboard, that's going to be the easiest thing to bend and break in these things. And it's also the cheapest to replace. You know, sheets of cardboard are not going to be as expensive as packs and packs and packs of grommets and string. I mean, it's all comparably non-expensive, but the cardboard really is. I mean, it's I would wager cents on the dollar, right? It's paper.
Yeah.
Well, the individual cost isn't that much, but plus there's the cost, the overhead costs of the R&D and designing the equipment to do the punches, you know, they all kind of add up too.
Yeah.
Sure.
So interesting. I think this is a very cool, interesting move from Nintendo. I do find it funny that again, they're kind of keeping the software behind the paywall, so you could almost unbundle these if you would. But I do think it's a smart move from Nintendo, making this replacement kits easily accessible from a cost perspective, right? Once you have forked out the $70 for cardboard, you've built this stuff, or someone gets really excited, doesn't pay attention, rips half of it, rips some of it or breaks it during the building, and mom and dad are about to lose their mind about the fact that I just spent $70 on freaking cardboard and something happens, right? To be able to say, you know what? Go over the site, you pay your, $3 or whatever, and you'll be grand. Right. I think that's a fantastic move from Nintendo. I think from a parenting perspective, that's awesome. And I think that's great. So, well, fair play to Nintendo for doing it. Gary, what are your thoughts?
Well, we're all dads here, right?
Depends on the day whether I claim whether the children are mine or not. Like when they're acting up at like the Tesco, I was like, who brings kids here? Like, man, someone keep those people under control. And then I walk like 3 aisles away, and then I just like hang a sharp right, and I'm like, not mine.
So one thing that we've all got is a toolbox. So when this Labo eventually breaks, I'm going to guarantee most people will end up using shoestring instead of the normal string.
Yep.
Shoelaces, tape, glue.
Yeah.
So we're going to see some Frankenstein Labo, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Before people spend the money to buy the official kits.
That's what I'm really excited to see, is like in 1 year from now, what does your Labo kit look like, right? It's like, small puke stains over it. The dog's peed on it in the corner, and it's like, duct tape's barely holding it together.
What sort of house do you live in, Justin?
You don't want to know.
Sketchy parts.
So I was looking through these as you guys were talking, just throwing out some details that maybe people haven't been able to glean from, previews of Labo or things like that, as how involved these kits are going to be. Apparently, the robot kit, and again, these sheets are, set apart by letters, right? A, B, C, D. The robot kit goes all the way up to R.
Oh, wow.
And the piano kit goes from A to H. So that's 8 sheets of cardboard. The getting into the fishing rod is 6, sheets of cardboard. The house is 4, but it looks like each one has like tons of punch outs on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the RC car and it says RC card and Discover. There's one yellow sheet and one black sheet, and the black sheet is the Labo Man. Okay, he is on there. The other is the 2 RC cars, and that's it. So you get, you have like one build that's one sheet, and then the rest of them are all way more involved. Yeah. So, and even the robot one, like the reason that they're able to separate this one out is because they have taken and bundled different parts of that together. So like the knobs are the visor and the knobs are bundled together. The main cardboard body, like the main body is bundled together. The backpack is, the straps are together. The sliders are together. Right. And so then there's the visor, feet, and Joy-Con holder. I mean, there is so much that are going to come out of these boxes tomorrow. I'm so excited about it.
Yeah. And another thing just to note, sorry, is just that like with the RC cars and stuff, you do get other things on the same piece of cardboard, like you said, the Labo guy. Mm-hmm. So you actually get some more accessories on the.
That's true.
On the car when you get like an elephant face for the front and like a bulldozer arm and all sorts of crazy stuff on them.
Yeah. Like, and I was, again, I didn't really do that justice, but I was just kind of, glancing over these very quickly. So the variety kit, right, is the fishing rod, the house, the piano, the RC car, and was it said that we would be getting Labo Man with that, or is this something we didn't know yet?
No, I think Labo Man's just on one of the pieces of cardboard in the variety kit.
Yeah, right. So yeah, it's a little bit of an extra, but not much.
A really little bit of an extra.
Yeah, very little, right? Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. There's a ton of exciting stuff coming on for Labo. I know that like this has been the conversation I've heard for last week. Obviously, Gary, you and I mentioned earlier that the UK and the EU is delayed by getting it for 1 week as well. But guys, if you are, when I'm looking at their chat here, I see a couple things. I see Ms1K3 says, "Am I a bad Nintendo fan since I picked up God of War over Labo?" No, and I don't think you are at all. You're not, and Chris White says, "I don't think so. I picked not wasting my time over Labo," and that's absolutely fine as well. And the thing I would encourage you to think about is that like Labo is not necessarily for everyone. And I know that people are like, "But man, I'm not hyped for Labo." I want you to remember that like the target audience for Labo is like kids, right? Is and parents.
It's parents and families. I really believe that.
And maybe you're like, but I'm a parent. I have a family. That doesn't necessarily also mean it floats your boat. It may not float your kid's boat, right? It may not be what interests you. You guys like just playing video games different ways. That's absolutely fine. That doesn't make you a bad family, a bad parent, a bad Nintendo fan, whatever it is. It's what floats your boat. Gary is a great example. When we had Gary on a couple months ago about it, Gary, you said it was really cool, but like you're not going to get it. Right.
No, and that's purely because my daughter's too young for it. If she was a little bit older, I'd jump at it in a heartbeat, but she's just too young.
Yeah, exactly, right. So it has to fit what's right for you. And even when they were doing the media press that we sent Gary to, they basically said like if you have a child between the ages of like I think it was like 7 and 12, please bring them along. But like there's this kind of like this defined time of like this is where our target is. Right, so I wouldn't feel bad at all. Although I would like to see God of War versus Labo Man in some kind of Smash Battle Royale thing. I think that would be amazing.
Like I think that age group hits it specifically. Like that my son he just turned 11 and my daughter's 9 and they're right in the middle of that. I'm already going to tell you that there will be. This weekend is we're gonna do a couple of the variety pack kits as like speed build videos on our YouTube channel, and you will probably watch my son walk away at some point.
Yeah,
because he's gonna be like, "Yeah, Dad, this is really cool. I'm gonna go over here and play Minecraft now." Yeah, But then like probably when I get it,
let me know when you're done.
Yeah, let me know when you're done because when I get it done, he'll come back.
Yeah.
Right now, she on the other hand is gonna want to sit there and I'm gonna have to be the one like. Okay, let me do that before you break it, right? Because she is extremely strong-willed and wants to do that. But I'm seriously like the part of this that I'm most looking forward to is the actual sitting down with them to build it.
Yeah.
See, and really that's all I have to look forward to, seeing as how we know absolutely nothing about the software.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we don't even know how deep it is. And seriously, this stuff could be sitting in my closet next week going, well, that was a regret purchase.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to.
Yeah. I was looking at the chat here. Mythical One says, I'm a 25-year-old and a mechanical engineer, and I am thrilled.
Yeah, I think it's the mechanical engineer part that
could be.
It's talking.
Yeah. Again, for those of you that, if you're a 35-year-old and thrilled for this, that's cool also. But I think for those who feel guilt, like, why am I not thrilled for this? You don't need to be as well. So, but I think
don't buy into the hype that you have to be thrilled for everything Nintendo does.
Yeah, exactly. Pick and choose what works best for you. So now I want to segue on to our next content here as well. But I do want to say this, guys, we have got a ton of Labo content coming up right away for us. Obviously, as Marty mentioned, it's hitting Nintendo Dad's HQ tomorrow. We're going to see tons of videos. You're going to see some parenting videos from us. You're going to see some kid videos from us. You're going to see laps videos. If you're on the fence with Labo, you don't really know if you want to do it, guys, you don't need to pull the trigger tomorrow. Okay, you can wait. Listen, we will give you feedback. We will. Give you
I would definitely recommend, if you are like on the fence with this, wait the weekend out and watch tons of videos. Yeah, right. Because everybody's reviews are coming in. Yeah, I mean, watch all of our videos. But I mean, there's also there's also going to be tons of reviews all around. You know,
and you know what? And it kind of pulling in with Gary being here as well. We have an episode I'll maybe pull up from our archives. Can't remember which episode it is. Maybe 168. I'd have to double check that. But Gary came straight from the Labo event and gave his hands-on impressions as well. We've got a video of Gary there as well. So we have information around Labo available to you. So guys, let's check that out as well. But yeah, Labo, it's going to be here. We're going to talk about it for the next coming weeks as well. How many more news items we got there, Mr. Estes?
Yeah, just a couple. Let's talk about a couple of the bigger ones. So everybody knows that Switch Pokemon is coming, right? We know that. It's been talked about. I mean, it's basically, hey, it's coming. It's on the horizon. We're working on it, right? This week, a Nintendo magazine, and pretty much an internal document or internal magazine, confirmed that Switch Pokemon will be Generation 8. All right? So we're going to maybe a new region. We're going to definitely getting new Pokemon. It's also this week started to swirl in the rumor mill that this is going to release this year. And I know it's already been there, but one of the guys that talked about this is kind of a known industry insider. And he said localization is going on right now for this for a target of November. And if you think about it, that sounds pretty familiar, because when do we always get our Pokemon games?
Right. Christmas right before November. Yeah. Right. I mean, firstly, it's Generation 8. Yes. And water is wet, right? Like, this should not be shocking.
Well, in a way, yes. And in a way, no.
I think some people were still thinking this might be stars.
Oh, okay.
So this is just basically saying it's not. It's going to be something new.
Go show me my Pokemon knowledge. Gary, how do you feel about the Poke of the Mon?
Oh man, the thing with stars is like in like 2035, people are going to be saying, "Oh, Pokemon Stars is coming out soon." It's been a thing for so long now. It's not stars. I will happily eat one of my shoes if it's stars. If it's out this year, I will be surprised by that as well. But I'm not. I'll probably eat a bacon sandwich or something instead for that one. But yeah, I think it's a given. I really do that it's going to be a new generation. I also don't think it's a reboot like people are saying. They've already done that once, so I really can't see them doing it again. And yeah, I think this year is the bit that I'm not too sure about. I'm fairly confident that it'd be next year, but could be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, could you imagine if Nintendo rolls up at E3 and is like, hey, by the way, boom, here's Smash Brothers. Boom, by the way, here's Pokemon. Boom, by the way, here's Animal Crossing. Mic drop, I'm out.
Right? I honestly think that, if they focus their E3 on Smash, like I think they're going to do, then they could totally at the digital event have that, oh, here's one more thing.
Mm-hmm.
and have like first footage. They don't have to drop a date. They don't have to do anything. But if they just drop, well, if not
Like
a specific date,
showing the
just,
starters or something.
Yeah, if they just like if it came up, from black and it was your character picking the one of the 3 starting Pokemon, that scene, and then it just flashed 2018. You want to talk about tearing the house down?
Yeah,
that would do it on top of Smash.
I was thinking about the Pokemon on the Switch, and I think it'll have one problem that has never happened in any previous Pokemon generation, in that everything else, for trading and battling, there was either, you plug it in with your friend, so you're right there, right next to each other on the playground doing it. On the DS and 3DS, they had ad hoc networking, so you could do the same thing without the wires. In Switch, I don't think they have ad hoc networking, so in order to do it, they'd have to be both on a network. So could be some difficulties, at least on.
What about when you play locally, like with someone, like this, like the same way that you when you play locally, like I remember playing like Barry Dunn. We played like local Mario Kart together.
Were you both on the same network?
We were. No,
it sets up like a IR connection or a Bluetooth connection between devices.
Yes, maybe it does have that ad hoc. Yeah, it's just something I've never tried. So.
Jesse, you go back into your cave and you find that out. You go back into your hotel cave, you figure that out, and you come back to us, because I don't want these bull answers that you've getting us here. You don't know what you're talking about, AR cards? Get out of here.
I'll look into it and come back next week.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
It has got local wireless connections. I've played a few local games there, being on a network with my brother, so there is a way to do it. But yeah, I mean, I think if they drop the ball, if they drop the announcement, of Pokemon at the end of the year, it'll be like, right, 2018's been slow for the first half, but you're going to be so overwhelmed for the second half of 2018, you won't know what to do yourself.
Yeah. And and to be honest, that's really how it's beginning to feel that way. I've looked into the May schedule right now. Maybe we'll talk about the fact that maybe I'm bearing the lead here. Dark Souls got bumped, but like we begin to see pace hitting in May, June, July, right? And I think Nintendo starts. It's almost weekly with amazing content. So I think Nintendo's finding their footing for 2018. I think it's going to steamroll us right through. If you add in Pokemon and Smash Brothers, we're pretty much done. So. Marty, what else have we got in the news? Or did I just deal it with
no, that you're good. You're fine. Totally fine. One last thing that we do want to talk about this week is that in Japan, retailers have started to restock the Famicom Mini.
Ooh.
And the reports are coming in of retailers actually having these systems in stock. My question then becomes, is the NES Mini not far behind? Because originally we had heard summer 2018. Yeah. So my question is, do we see this now, or do we see it like an announcement of this at E3, which is like, we know you really want Virtual Console, but here's the NES Mini.
You guys don't know about this, do you? But we've already had a restock in England.
Yeah, so have we over here in Ireland. I can go
really?
I can go into my my Smith's, the toy store. Like it's a couple clicks away from my house, and they've got them all restocked.
No, that we totally didn't know that. So no warning, no,
just there, yep. Just a whole schwack load of them. Actually, and it's even they're even a $5 off too.
But here's the thing: when you guys had them in the the original days of them, you had a whole schwack load of them.
Yeah, we did. Gary, go on.
I don't think the NES was actually available really at all. I think the Super Nintendo was. So I never saw an NES one in the wild. But an interesting note on it really is I haven't seen any still in the local shops around here at all, even during the restock. But Nintendo Store UK sold them as long as you brought a Super NES with it. So you had to buy the bundle with the two.
Oh, you're kidding.
No.
So they're doing the bad GameStop bundles.
They're doing the GameStop bundles, yeah. They've took note and said, well, if everybody else is doing it, why not?
Yeah.
So that makes me question the sales the sales pace of the SNES Classic? Are they just sitting on warehouses of them?
We got tons of SNES classics everywhere.
Yeah. You know, here in America, I see one every now and then, and mostly I would see them at my local Target store, and we're like in a town of, or near a college town of like 30 to 45,000, right? And so they would pop in for a little bit and then they would be gone, and then they'd get a restock. Just last week, I was at Best Buy and saw them there for the first time, and they had like 5. And I would be willing to bet they're gone by now.
Can I ask you a question? When you see the Super NES Classic in the wild, do you look at it and go, "Oh, it's disgusting! Horrible purple buttons, horrible square design. I wish I had that super sleek European one with the nice."
I say,
I say that actually.
Listen, here's what I say. I say, though you may be ugly on the outside, you're beautiful on the inside because of your beautiful, beautiful games.
Nice.
Like Super Castlevania 4.
I'm confused, Marky.
Right now.
I thought you were talking about me for a second. You're still on about this?
No. I would never say that about you to your face.
There's purple buttons for you.
Oh yeah, there you go. Nice. I like it. Yeah. Cool.
I actually don't mind the purple button just because that's what I'm used to seeing.
Yeah, I to be honest, I rather enjoy the Famicom version. I've actually got to pick up a wireless controller for my SNES Classic, and I'm gonna make sure that I order the SNES, the Famicom, because that's the one I got over here, and it's awesome. So, yeah, I suspect Nintendo's not gonna mention at E3 about the NES restock. They're just gonna put on a press release that, by the way, there's more coming out in late July or whatever it is, and then a couple like weeks later, they're gonna do it as a, by the way, now announcing the Game Boy Classic and restocks for the NES Classic have now occurred as well. So I don't think we're going to hear about it at E3, but we'll definitely hear about it in the summer for sure. Cool.
Absolutely, yeah. Maybe just a tweet, hey, it's back.
Yeah, exactly.
Right now. Go to GameStop, get one of the 3 we sent there.
Yeah. They'll do some slick advertising for it. So
yeah. So that's really all of our news this week, Justin.
Cool.
Except for kind of one last thing, and it's just worth mentioning. Nintendo filed a patent for portable screens communicating and interacting with each other.
Interesting.
And the patent actually shows 2 Switch tablets, presumably, laying next to each other, making a continuous screen.
Interesting.
So, like, you have a vertical scrolling screen on one side that turns into a horizontal scrolling screen on the other, sort of like a DS.
Interesting. That would
I don't
require,
know where they're going with that, but they file a lot of patents, and it does, nothing really comes out of it. So I wouldn't think that it's going to be something crazy.
Yeah,
but it could be.
Sometimes it's filing patents just to file the patent, to make sure that you own the rights to it, right? So,
and sometimes it's a vitality sensor.
Exactly. Yeah, it never comes to fruition. So,
yeah. The Nintendo directors made a joke on this, saying that they're going to be re-releasing the Virtual Boy paired with a vitality sensor.
Yeah. All right. One other quick news items I did mention very briefly. Dark Souls for the Nintendo Switch has been delayed. I believe it's been delayed to a summer release as well, and the Amiibo is delayed with it as well. For those of you that were big Dark Souls fans, delays happen. It's okay. They'll still be coming. They'll just be coming in the summer. So hopefully that's okay. Not like whatever. It's okay. Fine. All right. Let's jump into what we've been playing and go straight to Mr. Gary Gray and his time with EGX Rezzed and the amazing games that he's been playing.
Oh, so many. So many.
Yeah, you have been let's frame this up. EGX Rezzed was over in London this last Saturday. This is a huge indie conference, really. Indie developers showing up, playing, getting games ready. And actually you were at I-62 or Insomniac 62 a couple weeks earlier. So there's a big kind of gaming conference scene. So maybe Gary, what have you been playing? How were things? What's going on in your life?
Yeah, so basically, we'll skip past Insomnia and go straight to EGX Rezzed anyway. And it was at London's Tobacco Dock, which is a cool venue and cool name in itself. And it's all indie, no first party stuff really, unless it's like scaled down, I think. And it's just huge. So many indie games. I think there was over 200 odd there. and you got, you know, Xbox showed up, Nintendo showed up, PlayStation showed up, Sega, Coatsink, Curve Digital. Everybody had their own sort of booth. And yeah, I got some hands-on with a lot of games, and there is going to be a lot of videos on the Nintendo Dad's YouTube. I've already done 2 of them so far. But really, I want to take the time to talk about Travis Strikes Again more than the other games today. Obviously, conscious of time, because if I rambled on about every game I played, this would have to be about a 17-hour podcast.
Nice. Okay, so talk to us about Travis Strikes Again. This is No More Heroes. This is from Suda51, right?
Yeah, Grasshopper. Yeah. So basically, going in, I'm going to ask you guys first. When you saw the reveal trailer and you saw the gameplay, what did you guys think?
When I saw the gameplay, like the original announcement trailer hooked me. I thought it was very interesting with him in the trailer. I thought that was a very cool art style. Then I saw the gameplay footage, and I was like the kind of top-down versioning that I saw, and I was a little bit, I guess I don't want to say turned off, but I was like, maybe this isn't what I thought it was.
Yeah, it wasn't something that I just like. Not having never played No More Heroes. Either version, 1 or 2, but hearing all of the hype, right? Hearing lots of fervor for Suda51 and No More Heroes, it just kind of left me a little meh. You know, it kind of looked like something that, like, oh, this is a collection of mini games. Great,
Jesse.
Yeah, again, I've never played either of the previous 2 games, so they really had no interest in this game at all.
Okay, so I was kind of the same as Justin. Now, getting hands-on with it, it's actually blew me away. It's really, really good.
Okay.
And we didn't play the mini game, if you want to call them mini games, the indie sections. We just played the main Travis sections, 2-player, single Joy-Con, local co-op, and it's really, really good. So the single Joy-Cons work really well for the game. You know, it's set in like a Neo Tokyo section, which we played. And you got all sorts of special abilities. It's chaotic, it's frantic. And we even got to play a boss. And the interesting thing to know about the demo is that it was localized to the actual venue itself. So the characters were talking about EGX Rezzed and in London.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they did do the same thing at PAX and another convention. In fact, at the end of I forget which one it was, but when you beat one phase of the box, he said something like, "Just wait till you see my next phase at PAX." So,
nice.
Yeah, and
something like that.
I got the opportunity to meet Suda51 there, which was much to my surprise.
Yeah.
And I actually asked him about the localizing of the demo. He said that he was basically programming it in on the plane, and he's done it for every venue that he took the game to so far. So
that's awesome.
You got to give massive props to the guy for that, because you know, half the guys don't even make a special demo. They just like, oh, you got too far. Get off the thing now.
Yeah.
You know, so it's pretty amazing.
Okay.
Amazing thing to do, yeah.
How would you like is this now a must for you? A must own? Is this kind of keeping your eye on it? Like what kind of genre would someone else, is there any of the other games you can kind of say it's sort of like this?
That's a tough one.
Okay.
I don't think there's much on Switch like it at the minute.
Okay.
Even though some games might appear to look kind of similar, it's not. So yeah, it's turned into a must for me. Mainly because I really like 2-player single Joy-Con. Yeah. So I take my Switch out and play it with my family, just popping on the table on tabletop mode, and
okay.
And yeah, so this was a really, really good game for single Joy-Con. And it was one of the questions I actually asked Suda51 as well, if that was the aim, sort of, to make the game 2-player local co-op with a single Joy-Con. And he actually said that it was a member of the team that was pushing for it. And as soon as I mentioned it to him, he said it's a fantastic idea and sort of implemented it as best he could. And it works really well. And the interesting thing to note about that as well is you sword that you got like a beam sword. It runs out of energy, and to recharge, you have to click down the thumbstick and give the controller a little shake. So it's got motion controls in as well.
Nice.
And so I asked him about that as well, like utilizing the features of the Switch. And he basically said that the Switch fits No More Heroes really well and all its features. And that he definitely plans on implementing more motion controls and other features that the Switch has into the game as well. And there's a lot they could do with it. And he's just trying to figure out, you know, if and where to use it, basically.
Right. So would you recommend this game then, Gary, when it comes out?
Definitely. Well, like I said, I didn't even get to play the other indie parts, but from the main Travis Strikes Again, you know, Travis in the environment, definitely. Yeah. So it's only going to get better when the other games appear in it as well.
Right. Yeah.
The only thing that I can think of from just what you're saying right there that would be like I guess a negative or kind of a hang up would be if you're playing the game and you're in handheld mode and you have to press down on the stick and shake the whole Switch. That's going to be kind of awkward.
I don't think that was the case for using basically a paired Joy-Cons. I think it is just because you got limited buttons on the single Joy-Con. Much like you know, you had it with arms where you had to click the stick in to use the shield. But come to think of it, that's a really bad example actually, because that was in the main game anyway. I forgot that I remapped the buttons for that.
Yeah, shaking the controller to charge the beam katana is kind of how it worked on the Wii versions. That's what was the concept there.
Yeah, I honestly can't comment too much because I didn't get to play with a normal controller. The option was there, but my hands-on was with co-op.
Right. Okay.
But I should say it mapped to a button as well.
Nice. So that was a pretty awesome experience then, for sure.
Yeah, it was really cool. Yeah. Suda51 is such an awesome guy. Like you know, you hear stuff about him being like a bit of a rock star. It's definitely true.
That's
Did he give his translator problems again?
No, I gave him problems. I gave him lots of problems.
So Gary, do you want to like actually tell them kind of like what happened?
So Justin gave me the schedule of what was going on, and he said, "Oh, you got some one-on-one time with No More Heroes." So I turn up, ready to play the game, and this Japanese guy came out, and he's like, "Oh, you're Gary." I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Okay, yeah, just play the game." So just so I'm about to jump on, Suda51 turns up behind me, and straight away I knew what was going to happen. I was like, "Oh dear, oh no." So I get to play the game, like start sweating because this guy's staring at me playing his game. And then he's like, "Do you want to come to the press room now for the interview?" And I'm like, "Justin, I haven't got anything. I didn't prepare for this. My phone was rammed full of like memory, so I couldn't film it, I couldn't record it. I didn't have a notebook and pen on me. I didn't have questions prepared." And like I got through this interview nervous and sweaty and you know, dry mouth because I hadn't had a drink up until this point. It's like mid-afternoon from like probably about 7 o'clock in the morning. Incredibly hot venue as well because it's basically open but with like a glass shield on top, so it's like a greenhouse. And as soon as I walked out the after talking to Suda51, which in all fairness, like I say, how awesome of a guy he is, he actually sort of had an impression that it's so like a relaxed conversation that I felt pretty good about halfway through. And as soon as I got out the venue, I FaceTimed Justin, and the first thing I did was point the finger at the camera and just said, "You stitched me up, man. What have you done to me?"
In all fairness, we had no clue. I thought it was just a demo as well. So when Gary sent me a message, he's like, "I just met Suda51 and had an interview." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah. So it could have gone a lot better, but in all fairness, it was what it was. And so it was an experience anyway. But I got to ask him a fair few things, you know, about the current climate of the industry and what the design choices of the game. So they're quite interesting things to point on. The Neo Tokyo look, I asked him about that, whether that was a design choice and the game was built around it, and he actually told me it was the other way around. They got the indies together and sort of designed the look and the feel of the game from that. And I had to ask him a few dad questions as well.
Oh, good.
So I asked him, with the game being, known for being a bit more punk rock and badass, how does that affect, your decisions of what you do with the game? And do you think it's sort of, can't get my words now, sort of the right place for it to be on the Switch? And he said, of course, the Switch needs a balance. It needs something that appeals to other people, not just like a broad family. You need the hardcore gamer sort of thing. And it's a perfect fit, really, because there's not many games there at the minute like it either. So it actually adds to the balance and makes it more unified. And I actually asked him if he could choose another indie game from Rezzed. What would he pick to put in No More Heroes? And he said, let's see, Dead Cells, which was actually at the Nintendo section. He said it is a really interesting game, which is a bit more on the sort of, should we say badass again? We'll say badass again. On the badass side, it's, going around cutting people up with a sword. So really interesting indie, and I can definitely see that fitting perfectly well as well. And he commented on the climate of the games industry, like I said, and said it's actually a really good place at the minute. Everything's accessible. You got Steam, which is a great platform. You got Switch, which is obviously the new indie place. He said the only thing he can't comment on really is Xbox, because it hasn't been doing so well in Japan. But it's an incredible time to be a gamer, really. And then, and even mobile phones is accessible to everyone. So everyone's playing games, people that normally don't. And it was, like I said, it was just an awesome sort of experience meeting him. There was one more thing I wanted to touch on as well, but I can't quite remember what it was now. Come back to me in a second.
That's fair. Actually, as you're getting that, now there's a couple other games I just want to ask you about. Now I know we got some coverage on our channel, but you did play actually Shaq Fu and Grip as well. How did those get on?
Oh, you know what? When Shaq Fu first got announced that they were making a new game, people were a bit on the fence about it, and it's honestly it actually pokes fun at itself to the point where it's become so funny that it's a must buy for me. I don't think the original Shaq Fu was too bad. I actually played it after the new Shaq Fu. But yeah, it's basically a love letter to the 90s, really. It carries on from the original sort of storyline where he goes to Japan and meets a sensei and learns karate and all that sort of stuff. But it was crowdfunded, and they actually even joke about that in it. Like literally anything they could throw a joke at, they do.
Nice.
Like there's one point where the sensei sort of runs in, runs off, runs in, says something else, runs off, runs in, runs off. And Shaq turns around and says, "Why do you keep running off?" And he basically said, "Well, we didn't earn enough money on Indiegogo for my animations to be made."
Fair enough. Okay, so very, very on the nose, self-deferential.
Yeah, and Grip went down really well there. There's massive queues for it and stuff. Really cool game. The build, I played it on the actual Switch, but it's incredibly early build. So I don't want to say too much about that. It was so early, in fact, that like the buttons weren't even mapped to the right buttons. So X was Y, Y was X, stuff like that. So it took me ages to get just past the menu. Sure. But yeah, it's a really cool game.
I think those buttons are swapped on an Xbox, right?
Yeah, and everything at these venues is on Xbox controllers. Everything. So yeah, it's a really cool game. Like people who like racing games, there's not many of them on the Switch at the minute. Are gonna really like this, especially if you like the sort of more chaotic things, weapon-based ones, especially. And if you like a bit of speed, like F-Zero, say, then yeah, keep an eye out for it.
Nice, awesome. Thanks, Gary. Any other like games you want to highlight or anything else you played that caught your attention?
So yeah, there's going to be, like I said, there's a lot coming. There's already a video of the Shaq Fu and grip ones, like I said, and I
Yeah.
did another video for what was
Spectrum
it called?
Retreat.
Spectrum Retreat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shift Quantum. Now we and Justin have already played this at EGX last year.
Yeah.
So Justin already knows a bit of it as well. But we'll talk about that here. Then there will be a video on the Nintendo Dad's YouTube later on, so check that out. But for people who don't know what Shift Quantum is, it's basically like a puzzle game. You play as this cloaked up dude who's kind of like Neo from the Matrix. And the aim of the game is to get to the exit. That's all it is, just get to the exit. But the interesting thing about it is it's all sort of black and white, and you stand on the black platforms and the background's sort of white, or the other way around. But basically you press the button and he sort of flips the world. So everything that was black is now white, and it's upside down now. So basically I've got a really good example to show you. So this is a card they gave me of the game. So it does this.
That's awesome. Oh, that's great.
Except the world flips upside down. And I actually got to play it on the Switch this time, and it runs fairly well. And it's such an interesting puzzle game, really, because you're constantly thinking of, well, what's on the other side? What's there? What's going to create a danger? What's going to be a plus? It's just, and you can move blocks around. So you'll move a block, and normally on a puzzle game, you move a block to sort of stand on it or to activate a switch. On this, you also use it to basically create a gap and create a passageway on the other side of the world. But then when you flip it back, it'll be a platform for you to jump on. So you have to think about, not only will it do the first time, but what will it also do the second time when I flip the world back around again. Really, really awesome game. Nothing I've ever played is really close to it. So definitely keep an eye out for it.
Nice. And then one other question I have for you, Gary, and I know you got tons of videos you're going to be putting up on the site too, so I don't want to spoil everything. Is Catastronauts, is that essentially Catastronauts? Is that essentially Overcooked in space?
Yeah, and it's really, really amazing game. So got some hands-on time with that. We played 4-player co-op.
Yeah.
So what it is basically you're being attacked by an enemy ship. You don't see the enemy ship. You only see what's going on inside yours. So you've got a bunch of guns on the one end, and then the rest of the ship. So you'll have sort of medikits, fire extinguishers. Fire extinguishers definitely like Overcooked.
Okay.
And the 4 of you have to basically charge batteries, put them in the guns to shoot the guns. Obviously drains the batteries. And like Overcooked, I don't want to keep saying it's like Overcooked. It is like Overcooked, though. That is the brunt truth about it.
Right.
There'll be separated areas. So sometimes there'll be 2 of you on one side, and they haven't got a battery recharger, but they've got a teleport to teleport things to you. And they can only use the teleport from their end. So if you put anything to go back, they have to activate it. And you have to charge the batteries and send them back. Meanwhile, you're sort of putting out fires that the enemy ships have made on your ship, and repairing holes that will be there. There was another level where bombs got teleported onto your ship by the enemy, and you had to sort of throw them off the bridge. Nice. So really good fun. Like a lot of shouting, a lot of coordination, or lack of, depending on your family.
Yeah.
And
that would be mine.
Yeah, it's another one to sort of make and break relationships when it eventually lands.
That's great. Awesome. Cool. Gary, anything else you'd recommend or want to chat about before we move on?
Oh, you know what? There's so much there. I mean, Nintendo had a big showing. They had a lot of games from the Ninja Showcase. There was just so much there, and you know, there's a lot of noticeable things. Dead Cells, like I said, was one of the big ones. Bad North looks fantastic, which is like a strategy game all set on a little island. You're sort of stopping invaders. Real-time strategy, which again,
yeah, I'm excited about that one.
Oh, it's really cool. It's really cool. If you like the real-time strategies, you know, it's like a compact one, should we say?
Mm-hmm.
Well, when they said real-time strategy and roguelike together, I was like, yeah, I'm sold.
Yeah, it's a really interesting sort of blend and really cool. There was Pocket Rumble, you know, that game that got announced ages ago, and was
that's still a thing.
Did you play that game?
I didn't get to play it. I watched other people play it. Basically, there was so much there in this venue, and running around to appointments and stuff. I didn't get to play a lot of things, but I got to see the majority. yeah, it's basically, if you guys ever heard of a thing called a Neo Geo Pocket, it's a console. I used to have one of those. It reminds me of the fighting games off those really bad. So if you're familiar with that, it's basically that. It's a really cool fighting game by the look of it. But as I said, I didn't get hands on with it, unfortunately. And I can't remember what the game's called now. It's escaped my mind. But there was the black and white one with the stickman.
Oh, Western
Loathing.
Western Loathing. Okay.
Incredibly cool game. Very text heavy, but also really humorous.
Nice.
Interesting art style. It looks so good in real life. Like you saw it on the reveal, and it just looks like stickman, but it actually looks really crisp, really clear. Pops out when you see it. Really, it's such a unique sort of style. It works really well. But another game I just want to quickly mention, which unfortunately wasn't on the Switch there, it was actually in the Xbox booth, was Flipping Death, which is a game that sort of was on the first indie reveal that we ever got in Indie Showcase, and it's really good, guys. It's really funny. It's if you played Stick It to the Man, you can see the similarity straight away. It is really similar in ways, but in other ways it's not. It's a lot more heavily focused on platforming. But the humor has been cranked up on this one, definitely. The characters are more goofy, more weird. It's just a really great game. So it's basically story based. Right? There's not sort of a penalty for jumping off a ledge and not making the jump, stuff like that. But
yeah, I remember Stick It to the Man kind of had very minimal penalties for death. You just kind of respawn really close to where you died, and then you just keep going.
Yeah, this is basically the same. But in terms of comedy games, it's definitely the one I'm looking forward to the most, probably.
Do you respawn by being reprinted again?
I can't actually say because I don't think the part of the demo actually had any pitfalls in.
Okay.
Nice. And that, now I don't know, we don't have a confirmed date, but I think that's scheduled or tentatively sometime in the next month or two. Is that?
I heard somewhere else that it's actually quite close to being announced, but there is actually another load of games I got to play or have played at other events that was there as well, and none of them have been confirmed for Switch, but they do say they're gonna try and aim for them. But one game that I saw last year at Insomnia 61, so August last year, had a tiny little booth, one single stand, was Fogs. Now, if you guys don't know what Fogs is, it is the perfect Switch game that's not confirmed for Switch.
Yes, and Coatsink Studios just acquired Fogs.
Yeah, they did, and I tell you, it went down a storm there. They had a massive section in their booth. They had like plushy dogs made. So basically, the game is that you're a double-ended dog, and it's 2-player. We shared the controller last time we played it, but for Switch, obviously, you'd have a single Joy-Con if it came out on that. And there's a red dog and a blue dog. Come on. If this is not made for Switch, then what is?
Yeah.
And basically, if you've ever seen Cat Dog, it's like that, but instead of a cat, it's dog. And you basically had to try and, solve puzzles and all that, and work your way to the end of the level by basically being cooperative. If you guys aren't communicating, you're not going to get through.
Yeah, this is a game that I know when you and I played it, we both instantly said, I was like, this has to come to the Switch.
Yeah.
Like there's games that you're like, oh, as soon as it comes to Switch, this was like the perfect Switch game.
Yeah, it's like every developer gets asked, is this game coming to Switch?
Yeah.
And, it from their point of view, it's not as easy as just, coming to Switch, yeah. There's a lot of work in these games. Some developers that I've talked to have told me like a little bit of insight there. They have to get rid of the background or redraw something or make something not animate or take this off it and take that off it. And it's not quite that easy. That's why developers don't just outright say yes, because that disappoints people. But Fogs is definitely the one where everyone who plays it says, this is a Switch game. So if it doesn't come to Switch, I'll be really surprised.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Anything else, Gary, that you want to drop knowledge on us?
There's so much, but just stick with the YouTube channel. I'll talk about it there.
Sounds good.
So there will be content coming for probably weeks.
Yes. Okay.
Probably
I like it. I like it. Now I want to be cautious of time. Is there, guys? We typically, I think Gary's kind of just covered our what have you been playing. Is there any other games that you guys have been playing that we haven't talked about before in the past that you want to kind of pipe in on a 2-minute hot take?
Yeah, I do. I think I could talk about this game. We are currently in the process of reviewing / previewing Death Road to Canada for Nintendo Switch, and this is coming out next Wednesday, the 25th of April. And I had previously played this game just for a minute or two on Steam on the PC, and I said then, I was like, why is this game not on a Nintendo system? If you're not familiar with the game, basically what it is it's a zombie apocalypse game where you're trying to drive from Florida to Canada, and you have to make stops along the way to pick up supplies, and you get these randomly generated characters that have different attributes, and you can find more, but if you die, you start over with a new character. But basically you go along and you recruit and you use your supplies and you try your best to survive. And it has this just like really charming pixelated graphic style that is kind of like, if you've ever played the game on iOS, Tiny Death Star. Have you any of you guys ever seen that one?
I think so.
Or there's like a tiny high rise or tiny apartment. It was that before it was Tiny Death Star. They look a lot like this. Like in the first one, you're running this apartment and you're letting people move in, and all these little pixelated people and so like, and it's bonkers. This game is super cool, and I can't talk about it a lot, but keep your eye out for Death Road to Canada. Like, I think that this is one that's going to appeal to a lot of people, and it has that appeal of being able to play it over and over and over again and have different challenges. And as you go, like, there's different ways you can play the game too. Like, you can play it just like, vanilla, or you can add different aspects to it that wouldn't be in the normal game. And you can even play co-op as well. So just keep your eye out for this game on the eShop next week. I think you'll be happy with it.
Very cool.
So did the characters you play as hear that the zombies are nicer in Canada?
Well, yeah, that's kind of like they go up there and they're like, "I'd like to eat your brains, eh?"
What's going on, guys? You got some double Tim Hortons and some brains, eh? Put that in a little bit of a Timbit. That's fantastic, there, eh? That's a back bacon, some maple syrup. Oh yeah, eh? All right, fantastic. Jesse, anything that you've been playing that you want to chat about on a hot take?
Nothing new. I got a few more chapters into Detective Pikachu. That's really is all I've had a chance to do all week.
That's fair enough.
I hope you're enjoying it. It's a really cool game. I really enjoyed it.
Jesse hates it.
It's a struggle, actually, for me. Yeah, I understand that I am not the target audience. It is meant for younger children, and I've said this before. So I'm just kind of like trying to swallow it and keep going, because I do want to see the ultimate payoff, which I know what it is already. I've been spoiled, but there's so many foreshadowings that you've got to be blind to not see them.
All right. Marty, you picked up the Adventure Pals. You happy with it?
I did, and at your recommendation. And buddy, thank you so much for that.
I knew you'd like that.
Oh my gosh, it's such a fun game, and stupid. Like, it's stupid in a good way. Like, like Nacho Libre is stupid in a good way.
Yeah.
And this game is like that. Like, why is this kid friends with a giraffe and a rock? It doesn't matter, because
it doesn't, but it makes it awesome.
Why is the main bad guy riding around on a bumblebee? Nobody knows and nobody cares.
Yeah,
because it's amazing. It's actually a fantastic platformer too. It has a couple of issues that I just went, that's an interesting design choice.
Yeah,
but other than that, I've enjoyed my time with it.
Good. Awesome. Good to hear. We're going to jump onto some mail, but I do want to put something in your radar, folks. I know, obviously Marty mentioned that Death Road to Canada is coming out next week. We'll have some Labo coverage next week as well, or coming up as well. Just as an FYI, we have also received access to South Park, The Fractured But Whole. So we will be having next week. We'll be having some hands-on impressions and time with it. So if you're on the fence about this one, maybe you don't know that you want to pick it up. Next week, when the embargo list, will actually have details for you about it, so you can make your decision if you want to be purchasing it on the Nintendo Switch. So lots of information coming from us too, and some good stuff. Let's jump right into our mailbag. I'm going to start off with this one. This one comes from Rick, and Rick says, "Hi, Nintendo Dads. I am a Nintendo dad. An episode or two ago, you read an email about a teacher who ran a video game club at their school. I, too, run a video game club at my school. I teach American Sign Language at a high school, and we have video game club here every week. It has essentially become Super Smash Bros. Wii U club, but that's okay. Every year, I host a Super Smash Bros. Tournament, Teachers versus Students, where we raise money for charity. And for 3 years in a row, we have raised over $600. Who won, you asked? I'm currently back-to-back champ. Thanks. Shulk's my name. I just wanted to throw my story and say that the video game club at my school really helps students learn a lot of good social skills. There are a lot of students who became friends because they didn't know many of their peers played video games. It's also really good for the students to see what they have something in common with one of the teachers. And they never believe me when I say I play video games until I beat them in Smash. And this is Rick from Brooklyn. Rick, again, that is an amazing story, and that is absolutely awesome. Thank you so much for doing that. My Nintendo dad salute, my thumb of approval, whatever it is. Yeah. Well done, Rick, to you and to the school and to parents and to teachers who are creating these, I'm going to call them like safe havens or safe places for people who enjoy video games to come together and meet and play games. Because when I was a kid, that was definitely not a thing. And that's awesome. And the fact that they're making friendships and kind of breaking down, I guess, like socio-school barriers, right? Of the cool, whatever it is, the cool kids and the jocks, whatever it is, breaking down that, and the commonality is video games. That's absolutely amazing. And then to partner that with raising funds for charity, like, well done, Rick, to you and your school. So that's fantastic. Thank you so much for that. That's amazing.
It's a super cool story.
Yeah.
And the last one was, both of these stories are cool. Like, where was Video Game Club when I was in school?
It was very quiet. I don't know about you, but it was very quietly in the corner before the school bell started, with me and my other friends reading the most recent Nintendo Power magazine and talking about where we can try and find the warp whistle or if you beat the game before this, did you hear that Samus is in her swimsuit? Right, like that was the club when I was a kid.
Put in this code, Justin Bailey.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, when we were in high school, I just don't think many teachers, if any teachers, actually were gamers at that point. So there was no context of what a video game club would be. Yeah. But now that gaming is more widely acceptable to more audiences, that is something that can happen today.
Yeah, exactly. And I think both this story and I imagine the one we have are people probably, our age or maybe a little bit younger who this they were born into it, right? They were raised playing video games much like we were, right? I mean, could you imagine back in the 80s or 90s if some teacher was like, can I get $700 to go buy a bunch of Nintendo games? Because I think the kids would like it at the school club. Like, no one's going to fund that. Right. But nowadays where you have like esports becoming an actual profession for some people. And, I want to learn to code because I want to create video games. And by the way, I created a video game this last weekend. I put it on the eShop, or I put it on the App Store. It's now available, right? That accessibility, that jump point into computer engineering, software engineering, technology. I mean, even you look at it, Nintendo's GarageCon or Garage. What is it? GarageCon?
Toy-Con Garage.
There it is, Toy-Con Garage. I mean, that's really what it is, right? It's building simple programming code.
I think a lot of the, getting games into the schools kind of started more like in the early 2000s when schools would actually lease or purchase DDR machines to have to play, as part of their PE curriculum.
Yeah. Well, hold on. What? DDR was a part of a career curriculum?
For like PE, phys ed.
No. Sorry, I get that. Yeah. So they brought in DDR for phys ed.
Yeah. Schools had DDR machines for kids. Not all of them. No, none of them in my area, but I've heard stories of schools getting a DDR machines for kids to do that to get their exercise.
My school bought extra dodgeballs to hit us with.
Again,
that's a rite of passage.
We were in school before 2000.
You take this ball in the face, eh? Ow.
Now they're making like I bought some dodgeballs for my church the other day, and now there are these foam, like rubber coated, like not the playground ball rubber coated, like the safety foam covered stuff.
They're fake. They're not real balls.
Like I want to buy a kickball and hit somebody with it. They have like Voight tattooed across their forehead after I hit them. The kind that like when they hit you, they go pang, and make that sound. That's dodgeball. None of this. Let me throw this foam ball at you.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about child safety.
All the air resistance on that thing. They don't fly.
I'm going to jump in another email here. This one starts off. The actual title line is "In Defense of Marty."
Oh, hey, I welcome these emails.
Yeah,
come on, bring them. I need all the defense I can get.
Objection.
This comes from Sean Ashton, and he says, "Hi, dads. I just wanted to weigh in on the recent discussion concerning the proliferation of indie platforms and roguelikes appearing on the Switch. To date, some of my favorite experiences on the Switch genre, notable Shovel Knight, Celeste, SteamWorld Dig 2, and Flint Hook. Don't get me wrong. I love the open world AAA games and put over 140 hours into Legend of Zelda. I'll also be picking up Dark Souls, South Park, and Donkey Kong Country in the next weeks. However, I think the reason I've been drawn to these indie platforms and roguelike games is that it provides me the opportunity to dip into a game when life grants a spare half hour here and there. I wonder if the dads could relate to this, and have you seen your gaming habits change over time? Have a great episode, guys." So he's saying that he likes some of those roguelikes and those platformers because it allows quick accessibility as opposed to the 3D worlds where it's usually more time vested, and the correlation between that and perhaps the lack of times that parents have gaming. So what do you guys think of that?
Yeah, I mean, like I totally agree with that. And I read this email earlier, and I think like I haven't been able to pinpoint why I've felt so drawn to roguelike games lately, but that encapsulated it. And I also want to say that I cannot believe that Samwise Gamgee wrote to me.
Isn't that nice?
It's fantastic. He's my favorite character from Lord of the Rings. I can't do it. I can't carry it anymore. I can't carry the ring, Mr. Frodo, but I can carry you.
I didn't got it.
I love that movie. Now, wait, hang on. Wait. His last name is Ashton.
Yeah.
Oh, this is embarrassing.
Yeah. That's unfortunate, eh?
This is really embarrassing.
So
Okay, let me circle back to the relevant talk here, right? Roguelike games allow you to play and have that encapsulated gaming experience, right? In 30 minutes or 20 minutes, or if it's like me and Flint Hook, 10 minutes before I die. So I guess like that. Like Binding, like I hated roguelike games before Binding of Isaac, and having that in the early days of the Switch and having like my eyes open, like I've never played anything like this. Holy crap! It's fantastic. And then like Enter the Gungeon really sealed it, so I can like sit down and play 25 minutes of that, and I've had a complete game. And so, do I want more games like that? Sure. Do I want them to glut the Nintendo Switch eShop? No, right? Like I don't want that just to be the only thing that ever comes out.
Right. Yeah. I do like the idea that it's because it's short bursts, right? I'd actually agree with that. So like when I play, you can ask the question, how has your gaming time changed? I find that when I have long sets of time is when I will play like The Legend of Zelda, right? When I'll really dive into a much larger game. So like when I travel a lot, and I have 10-hour flights, that's when I'm like my best Zelda time is when I've been traveling for work, because I've got a 10-hour flight and I just bring a battery pack and charge it into the flight as I'm playing Zelda for 10 hours. When I'm here at home, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll just pick up Flint Hook really quickly, right? Or I'll finish a quick couple levels in maybe Adventure Pals or a couple screens here in Celeste. Nothing that's, allows me the ability to jump in and jump out. And I think that's actually a really strong point. Gary, how about yourself? How has maybe gaming changed for you, or what are your thoughts on big open worlds versus roguelites and platformers?
Going back full circle, there's no virtual console. So would this conversation have been different? We've still got to keep that in mind. So that's kind of how my gaming's changed. There's no virtual console, so I've not picked up old games. I've literally only played new, and it's great. There's a lot of games that I'd have missed otherwise. So I'm the same. I pick up, any roguelike or small platformer, play for a couple of minutes, put the Switch into sleep. Next time I get a couple of minutes where, maybe the daughter's finally gone down to sleep.
Yeah.
Then pick it back up, put in another half an hour, put it back down. And I think this is kind of universal across the board with most sort of parents. Is the Switch has kind of helped with these indie games to sort of get a couple of minutes here and there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Very cool. All right, final email, and then we're gonna. Go ahead, Jesse. I apologize. Yeah.
So what I said before, I'm not a fan of roguelikes, but what I have been doing a lot, like if I have like 5 or 10 minute break from work, is I'll pick up the Switch and play a lot of the puzzle games. I've talked about the puzzle games a lot. So like Pixel Lines DX, I have 75 hours in, and the Pick-a-Pix Deluxe, I have 120 hours. So the two of them together is more than my Zelda playthrough right now.
Yeah, there you go. Fair enough.
So because I don't have a lot of time to just, I haven't gotten into Masters of Anime yet or any of the other larger games that I've bought. But, that 5 minutes free, we'll go to a puzzle game really easily.
Yeah. Right on. Cool. All right. Great question, by the way, from Sean. And one last question here. And this is from Dan, who just sent us this he is a Patreon supporter, sent us his message. So we're going to give this a quick read. Hey, dads. Well, today is my 32nd birthday. To celebrate, my loving wife agreed to play a round of Mario Kart with me. The thing is, to say she's not a gamer would be a gross understatement. She probably hasn't held a controller in her hand since the Super Nintendo era. Anyway, the first 2 rounds of the Grand Prix went terribly. She didn't understand where L and R were, despite me giving her explicit instructions multiple times. And at a point, I remember that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has a baby mode, or an auto mode. So more or less explaining that I was going to turn on motion controls, I wisely neglected to tell her about some of the options that I elected for her. So with motion steering, auto steering, and auto acceleration, she went on to place 4th against me. I came in first, obviously. And the onslaught of 50cc computer players or gamers. With her confidence restored, she asked to play another round. Let this be a warning to anyone with a non-gamer spouse. You don't have to let them win, but sometimes a little under-communicated handicap can go a long way. Any of you have tips for getting a non-gamer to play with you? Thanks, and keep up the great work. Dan from Austin. Dan, first, happy 32nd birthday to you. Thank you very much. And also thank you for being an amazing Patreon supporter. We greatly appreciate that. So guys, how do you non-gamer spouses, I think most of us don't really have huge gamer spouses to be playing games with us. How do you guys engage your spouses?
In my case, we really keep our gaming separate. She has the games she plays. I have the games I play, and there's like literally no crossover anymore. She still plays EverQuest. I used to play EverQuest, but I haven't touched that game in years, and we really don't try to get each other to get involved, and we're both okay with that.
Yep. Yeah, that's division of state and house, right? State and game, so that's fine. Yeah. Gary, how about yourself?
Give her the TV remote and playing handheld. That's it.
There you go. That's a good compromise. All right, I like it. Marty, anything for you, buddy? You're on mute also.
Yeah. So my wife is a sometimes gamer. And what I mean by that is sometimes Lego games come out and she plays them. And so, but the thing about Lego games is that when a Lego game comes out, she doesn't just want to play the game. She wants to 100% the game. And so we end up doing a lot of either playing together as we free play through the levels after we've beaten the game. We did play through all, like most Lego games that have come out in the last few years, we've played through the story together and beaten that. And then most of the time I just let her work on the 100%, unless she gets stuck or she's like, hey, can you come help me out with this? But the fact that she, is excited about that and that she wants to play it, like, yeah, I get fired up about that. She's not going to play Zelda. She did play Mario Odyssey for a little bit and kind of got addicted to it. But she is unlike me, a very selfless person. And so she's always seeing something else that needs doing. And so she doesn't, sit down a lot. She did really get addicted. She gets addicted to mobile games more than anything. And she really got into Animal Crossing on the iPhone when it first came out. And like, she was like, so what are you doing? Have you sent me have you gone to the quarry? Did you send me so I can get into the quarry? And I was like, no, I've been working. She's like, well, you need to go open it up right now. And it's like, hurry, it's going to run out, so one day I came home, I was like, so I got to level 10 today on Animal Crossing. She's like, oh, that's cute. I'm level 35.
That's fantastic.
And she started like 3 weeks after I did.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
And, I take it when I can get it. Now, like we've played like Death Squared and everything, but I will tell you that we played Overcooked, and she, like, after 3 levels, she put the controller down and she looked at me and she said, never again.
See, and that's really funny.
Stressed her out.
My wife and I have been doing an Overcooked binge for the last week, where we've been playing Overcooked after the kids go to bed for like 2 to 3 hours. And there's times where at the end we're like, okay, we have to walk away, but we'll come back to it tomorrow. And we've actually like finished Overcooked, like all the levels in the DLC packages as well. And we're really disappointed actually that it's nearly done. That's why I was asking Gary about Catastronauts, because I was like, maybe that's a good replacement for it. But for me, I've always just found that finding a game that she's interested or engaged in, like she likes playing Mario Kart, right? That's an easy one. I won't really modify it for her because she knows, but also like really passionate about Dr. Mario. So, okay, let's play Dr. Mario together. And even when we were playing Super Mario Galaxy or Galaxy 1 and 2, like she loved collecting the star bits, right? So just kind of like, what engagement level does she want to participate in, and kind of asking that. And that's a tip that I found.
Yeah, one thing I did think of is she does like the Jackbox games when we play it as a larger group. It's not something she'd just want to play with 2 or 3 people. She'd want to play, find 6 people. Yeah. So that of course that is a different type of game. She's not holding a controller. She's using her phone. So she, that's kind of a different monster.
Sure.
So when I had to kind of have the similar experience with StarCraft that Marty had, except for it was me that says never again. Because
that's fair.
That game didn't sit well with me.
Nice. All right, guys, that is our mailbag. I want to be cautious of time here. Before we get heading out, Marty, what do we need to be aware of? What's going on?
So, yeah, we mentioned earlier in the show, Retro Rewind voting is over, right? So, Super Castlevania 4 is our next Retro Rewind game. You need to be playing that. It should not take you very long, though it is a little more difficult than I remember it being when I was younger. So had those patterns and things memorized more back then. So again, you can pick that up on the SNES Virtual Console on Wii U and the new Nintendo 3DS, or the original Super Nintendo, or the SNES Classic. Go ahead and play that and look for that episode to come pretty soon. Especially send in questions or comments, or how that game makes you feel when you play it, or your favorite parts or anything. Send all that into our email or tweet us, over at Nintendo Dads, and we would love to include those in the show. Also, we are notifying one lucky patron of a impending giveaway, right? And so each month, one of our patrons, and again, you just have to be a $1 patron to be in on this, gets $50 in eShop credit. That's crazy, isn't it?
That's mad.
It's madness. It's nobody. That's why we're doing it. That's why we're doing it, because we love you, because you patrons make the show possible, right? As well as everyone who listens. So if you want to hop over and become a $1 patron, somebody has already won the $50 for this month. You can be in next month's drawing. And yes, we are going to take those names out over time. So, it won't be the same person winning every time, but hey, you can go over and put $1 in and have a chance at it too, or put in $10 or however much you want. We love support, right? And so, yeah, check that out. And then again, Justin has mentioned this all weekend long on YouTube, all next week on YouTube. Check out our Labo content. Check out videos for Death Road to Canada dropping. Gary's got videos from Rez dropping. Tons of stuff over there. Go check it out. And be on the lookout for Zach's Patreon Q&A that he will do soon. Send in those questions. You've got a couple more days. That's all that's going on, Justin.
Awesome. Okay. And Gary, big thanks for you for coming on the show. Where can people direct all the amazing things that you do? You're kind of our part-time Nintendo dad as well. You obviously do a ton of work for our channel as well, but you got your own stuff on the fly too.
Yeah. So you can follow me personally at flatcap_gamer on Twitter. And I also own a website called thenintendovillage.com.
Which is a fantastic website, by the way.
Thank you. It's basically a bunch of a collection of people who just create content for Nintendo. So we're not like a news outlet or anything like that, but we host a lot of sort of YouTubers get together. There's article writers, reviewers, and podcasts.
It's we're waiting for our invite to come over and create some content for you guys as well. So
yeah, and I mean, if there's people out there and you want to be a part of it, there is a contact form on the website. Just go to thenintendovillage.com, drop us a message, and we'll get back to you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, guys, check out everything Gary's doing. He's doing fantastic work over there in Nintendo Village, and just it's awesome to have him part of our team as well. And guys, could you just round off the round off the show? Thank you for everyone who jumped into our YouTube conversation here. I was seeing that on our. Again, we have some of the coolest people on the chat as well. So thank you so much for jumping in. Next week, guys, is a little bit of an FYI. Next week, our special guest is the one, the only Mr. Ash Paulson from Game Explain. We had to do some rescheduling a couple of weeks ago, but he's going to be joining us next week. So if you have Mega Man issued questions for him and Marty, this is probably just going to be a Mega Man show.
I am super excited about this episode.
But
although he's probably going to show everyone just how much I don't know about Mega Man, so that's okay.
But definitely, guys, come back next week and check that out. So, where can you find us? Well, of course, you can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, VG Tribune. We are on all the major social media outlets at Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Of course, we have the YouTube channel. Just type in Nintendo Dads in YouTube. By the way, we're there. Click that subscribe button. We have videos going up almost every single day, including content recently of an interview with Tommy from Super Meat Boy and his creation of Super Meat Boy Forever. Check that out. Of course, we've got game reviews from our community creators. We've got videos from Gary. We've got just a ton of stuff. And again, guys, we're a weekly show. iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play. Subscribe to us. And of course, if you want to send us a mail, go over to nintendodads@gmail.com and drop us a line. For myself, for Gary, for Marty, for Jesse, and for a very absent Mr. Zach Erickson, thank you very much for tuning in, and you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, I guess.
Damn it, Jesse, say goodbye to the people.
Bye.
There you go. All right, I'm going to hit stop broadcast.